I come into the office in the elevator and there's yellow tape. And I go, why is there yellow police tape in the office? And I look over to one of my buddies and he's hanging. He killed himself. He had mob money because we're close to New York City. I'm in Connecticut, and he had mob money, and they were threatening to kill his family when '08 happened, and he lost 70%. He lost 20-something million dollars for one of his clients' accounts. So quick money goes up, quick money goes down.
Everybody, welcome back to another super exciting episode of the Journey to Legacy podcast. My guest today was none other than Mr. Joseph Lombardi of Ironhawk Financial. Joseph is the managing partner of Ironhawk. He is a wealth of knowledge, and we're not just talking about finances today. The episode actually went very different than usual because we didn't even get super deep into his story, which includes some very intense trauma we'll cover in a future episode. But today you're going to learn about the financial system, how it's broken, but also how you can start to navigate it, breaking down the basics, the bases as well of where you need to start to get your finances in order, start to even get your mind in order as well. So let's hop right on in, buckle up for this episode with Mr. Joseph Lombardi of Ironhawk Financial. Joseph, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me here, Wayne.
You're a really impressive guy, but just to start off with, give everybody just a high-level overview of what you're up to.
Yeah, so I'm the owner and founder of Ironhawk Financial. I've been in business for 21 years. I won 27 industry awards. I've been featured in major publications such as International Business Times, Business Insider, Market Insider. I'm a published author. I have 3 books out. One of them close to being a bestseller. That's Being Your Own Bank. My other 2 books are There's a Better Way Than a 401k, and then Long-Term Care Without Long-Term Pain. 5-star rated on Google, A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau. I have over 2,000 clients nationwide. I have over $2 billion with a B of protection and rollovers. And I have my own radio show, Money Talk with Ironhawk, that airs every Tuesday at 7 on Brushwood Media Group.
Take a breath. Joseph, man, impressive. Especially $2 billion under management right now, right? Ironhawk Financial. Here's a question that I didn't think I would ask you. So what's a reason why people shouldn't work with you, or maybe even shouldn't get into this space at all?
Well, first of all, to get in this space is cutthroat. I've worked in corporate America for 15 years. The amount of sabotage that happens, the amount of people that are fake to your face and then stab you in the back. The financial world is one of the worst jobs to be in if you don't have thick skin, if you are weak, if you are woe is me, if you think the world owes you something. This is not the career for you. That's why 95% of people cannot make it to year 4. Now, working with me, I'm more of the conservative, moderate type of investor. My number one goal is preservation of capital. I've never lost a client $1 in 20 years, and never charged a client $1 in 20 years, because both of my strategies use option contracts where you're guaranteed not to lose. So, but the rates of return on one of my strategies is averaging 15% tax-free over the last 20 years compounding. And my taxable strategy, where I take people's monies for rollovers, have been averaging over 13% compounding for the last 10 years. So the people that don't work with me are super aggressive people who love crypto, people that like going to the casino, putting half their money on the Yankees beating the Red Sox, like those type of people that I'm not interested in working with. I'm interested in working with people that are looking to build a legacy, they're looking to build a financial foundation, and they're looking to protect their family long term. The short term investors don't bother reaching out to me.
Nice.
Everything I do is long term. Everything I do is foundational planning, and I build. You can't build if you don't have a strong foundation. And that's what I focus on for my clients' financial future.
Nice. I like it. I mean, everybody's starting out investing at some point, right? Especially when you're young, also, you want to get rich quick, right? Thinking back, when did you start to learn and realize that you have to build a base foundation, kind of do it the more, if I could say, boring way instead of the high risk, high reward?
Well, 2008 happened. I was at Barnum Financial Group. There was almost 500 agents. It was MetLife's #1 office. in the world. And I come into the office in the elevator and there's yellow tape. And I go, why is there yellow police tape in the office? And I look over to one of my buddies and he's hanging. He killed himself. He had mob money because we're close to New York City. I'm in Connecticut, and he had mob money, and they were threatening to kill his family when '08 happened, and he lost 70%. He lost 20 something million dollars for one of his clients' accounts. So quick money goes up, quick money goes down. So I'm not the guy to try and double or triple your money in a year, because what's most likely going to happen is you're going to lose all your money. If you have that mindset, go to the craps table. Yeah, you'll watch a guy quadruple his money, but you'll also watch a guy lose everything. And I'm not about that. We're not here for a year to 5 years. We're here on average 80 years. So if you do the planning, you do it right, you build the protections in place, you can actually become a filthy millionaire later on in life while still leveraging the money that you accumulate while you're still working. So none of my strategies handcuff your money. They give them liquidity, which allows my clients to double dip on $1 by using the
Nice.
lean strategy.
Nice. I like it. Man, that's intense. So 2008 when it happened, like you saw right in front of you people that were almost playing the game too aggressively is what it sounds like.
I mean, Northwestern Mutual, when I left, they were the number one whole life company in the world,
Mhm.
almost a point and a quarter higher than all of its competition on its dividends. Biggest sales force. They invested heavily in mortgage-backed securities. They went from the number one whole life dividend return carrier for decades to the last within half a decade. So you put everything in on red, keeps hitting red, you're smiling, high five, and everything's great. As soon as black comes out, or more importantly, that double green zero, you are in a position of pain. And a lot of my clients, we live in America, the richest place in the world, per capita. We don't need to take the risk that some of these people are taking. I mean, I'm on all the DraftKings commercials nationwide. I was a heavy gambler. I've
No
gambled
way.
tens of millions of dollars. I'll tell you, it's fun, it's exciting, but at the end of the day, you never win. And that's what happens a lot with people with these quick money schemes and fast things. And what I
Yeah.
learned is that if you just put money away and have a guaranteed floor you can't lose, but have double digit returns historically compounding, you're
Yeah.
gonna be happy and fine.
You're gonna be happy, but he's got to be able to see forward, right? Project the future, not have to want it right now. I think our society has a problem with that right now with like instant gratification, right? Do you think that's like that plays an exact role into the finance department as well?
It is the exact problem why Americans are financially in debt, because we have a past self, we have a present self, and we have a future self. And what the average person does is if they live in their past self, they live in depression. If they live in their future self, they live in anxiety. And
Yeah.
so you have to live in your present self, but you also have to plan and care about your future self. And if you will
Mhm.
not do that, I guarantee you nobody else will. So if
Mhm.
you are not taking care of your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, and your financial health, and you don't have that foundation set up, because I'm guilty of it. I put all my eggs in the financial health. I was grinding 80 hours a week. I can show you paychecks making $200,000 in a week. In a week,
Yeah.
making almost $250,000 in a week. Grinding, building, but I let my health go. I gained weight. My marriage got bad. I wasn't more as involved as I used to be with my three children. And I realized, okay, there's something wrong here.
Mm.
So I got the personal trainer, diet, marriage counseling. Like I spent the energy and time in trying to fix everything, because what happens is we get hyper focused as humans. And if you are a class A like me, a top performer like me, your self-accusation, which is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is on the top, which makes you feel the best, is when you achieve, you build. But you also have to consider the foundation. And what most Americans do is they get instant gratification. We already have a mandatory slave tax called federal, state, FICA, Medicare, unemployment, Social Security tax. Then what the American people do is they add the voluntary slave tax. which is mortgage interest, car interest, credit card interest, student loan interest. And when you do that to your financial self to try and get an instant gratification, what you end up doing is you're putting yourself so far behind the eight ball that even if you do really good and you make really good money, you're never going to get out of it. You just keep digging yourself. But where are you putting the dirt? You're putting it right back in the hole. So it's having what people need in general, even millionaires, believe it or not, is you need a budget. You need to tell your dollars what to do. You can't, if you let your dollars tell you what to do, well, you're going to be drunk scrolling at 11:30 at night and buying random crap you don't need.
Yeah.
So it's so important to tell your dollars what to do and have a budget, and a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think the vast majority of people don't have a budget. Like I said, it's super important to have one. Tell your dollars what to do, especially so that you're not building up all of this, you said, this slave tax, right? Interest that's accruing a lot of times from stuff that you don't need. How can you actually convince somebody that thinks they need all of this stuff, right? I have to buy a house, so it comes with a mortgage, right? I got to get a nice car, so that comes with a payment as well. All this stuff. What do you have to say to these people? How can we even convince them that that's not the way to do it?
So I live by a saying: men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. And when you look at the numbers, especially currently with a high interest rate environment, if you were to buy, let's say, a $500,000 house, would you buy that same house for $1.5 million? Well, that is what the average American is buying a $500,000 house for when you take in consideration the interest. Then you add the property tax and the insurance on that house. You end up paying about $3 million for that house, $500,000 house over 30 years. So is renting better? I mean, I own property, but I own property that pays for my primary property. Like if you're going to get a 3-family, live on the first floor, rent out the top 2, so you live for free. So you can build up and take the money you would have paid rent, and you can build your own bank, and you can invest in yourself. What people don't understand is your biggest risk is taxation, market loss, inflation, and interest rates. But what does the average American invest in? A 401k, an IRA, a SEP, a simple, a pension, a deferred comp, a 457, a 529, or a brokerage account. Okay. Well, what happens when the market crashes with those? You lose exactly what you own. What happens if taxes go up? Well, that portion now belongs even more to the government. You lose. What happens when interest rates, inflation go up? Historically in the market, you lose. So we're in a position where all the levers are moving. Taxes are going to go up. We owe over $35 trillion in debt. We owe over 27 trillion in Medicare, 41 trillion Social Security, and 218 trillion in U.S. unfunded liabilities, which can all be fact-checked through usdebtclock.org. Taxes in the 1980s were 70% highest marginal here in the United States. They were 91% highest marginal in the 1960s here in the United States. Those are all
What do you mean?
facts.
Sorry, what do you mean highest marginal?
So the highest income tax bracket was 91%. So any dollar you made after a
Wow.
certain level in the 1960s, let's say you made $100, government would take 91
Yeah.
of it and leave you $9.
Wow.
In the 1980s, it was when you hit that level, you make $100, they take 70 and give you 30.
Numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. And so it sounds like the problem actually is that people just don't even take the time to learn the numbers, right? They're buying things, they see at face value, but they don't realize end of the day their biggest expenses, it sounds like, ends up being taxes, not to mention inflation, right? So is it just people that are uneducated?
Our school system, again, I'm not here to fearmonger and depress your listeners, but if you really understand, we live in the United States of America corporation,
Mm.
and that can be found out a few ways as fact. The first fact is how does the Federal Reserve print money out of thin air? Well, they don't print money out of thin air. They print what's called federal notes, which is on our future labor. Well, if somebody's making future profit on our future labor, that is a definition of us not owning our labor, because we will be printing those notes on our labor individually, but we do not. So we live in a corporation. We don't live in a country, because a country needs to have closed borders. The United States of America has open borders. So we're not a country. So if we're not a country and we're a corporation and we are a slave to that corporation, you have mandatory slave tax you have to pay. So what do you think the ultra wealthy people do? Do you remember when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were on stage? I don't care what side you are, they're both the same wings of the same bird. So when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were on stage and Hillary Clinton says, "You're a bad orange man, you don't pay taxes."
Mm.
What did Trump say? "I'm not bad, I'm smart. I use the same IRS code loopholes that your donors use that give you hundreds of millions of dollars." Well, what they were referring to is IRS code 7702. That IRS code allows you to legally invest in permanent life insurance. It's in a death benefit attached to permanent life insurance, and allows you to legally save money, have it grow tax free, have it come out to you tax free. It's also sue proof because of HIPAA laws. Nobody knows you have it. It's non-disclosable on the FAFSA form. Doesn't disqualify your kids from grants, scholarships, loan trade student loans, or financial aid. You can't lose because these strategies use option contracts and derivatives. They've been outperforming the S&P 500 historically for the last 20 years. It's 100% tax-free, has disability, life, long-term care, something you're going to need, terminal illness, critical illness. All the fees inside of it, you get something for it compared to what the average American invests is like an IRA or 401k, where you are paying 12B1 fee, Class A share fund fee, money management fee, annual account fee, mutual fund expense fee, assets under management fee. Those fees you get absolutely nothing for. Wall Street and the government have been colluding for the last 5 decades. And there's proof on that. You can go to YouTube and just type in 60 minutes 401k. And there's a video on 60 minutes that explains in depth what a 401k was, a Keogh plan, and what it got changed to, where the Wall Street's sitting there licking its chops. So if you're paying 1.5% in fees for 30 years, what's 1.5 times 30? That would be 45% fees. So half your money goes to fees. And then when you pull the money out in retirement, what do you have? You have federal tax, state tax, FICA, Medicare, unemployment, Social Security tax. Half your money goes to government. So if I'm in an account where half my money is stolen by fees by Wall Street, half my money stolen by fees by or taxes by the government, I'm in an asset where I get less money than the government and Wall Street does on my own dollar.
Yeah.
So what do you think the wealthy people do? You think the wealthy people put their money in that situation, or would they put their money in something that has no limit?
Yeah.
Example I always use is Shohei Ohtani. He went from the Angels to the Dodgers, had a $700 million contract to play baseball. Do you think someone like him would put all his money in a bank with only 250,000 of it FDIC insured?
I
Do you
mean, he
think that
doesn't
he
know.
would? So,
Right? Hopefully the people that are managing his money know, like
right.
you,
Do
but
you think that is what they would do? Right. And then
yeah,
you take a
hopefully,
look
yeah.
at what's going to happen. We had Silicon Valley Bank go down. We had Signature Bank go down. We had FTX go down. Banks are failing. Derivatives aren't working. We saw what just happened in Japan, where they had the largest one-day loss in their stock market since 1980, just 2 weeks ago. Well, to me, I call that an earthquake. And there's some of them are small, some of them are big. The bigger the earthquake, the bigger the tsunami that comes and hits. So people are looking for a safe place. You know the safest place to put your money? When you take a look at history that has survived the Civil War, World War I, the Great Depression, World War II, 180 years of success, never lost a penny, is actually insurance companies, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So that's, I just try and get this information out there because it's so vitally important.
I mean, it's not lie to you, man. It's pretty overwhelming, right? Like you're rattling off fact after fact. You're rattling off things that everybody has heard of, right? The most popular things to invest in: 401k, IRA, right? Let's just cut them right off the top, right? Not to mention, I mean, you spit off like 10 other ones, but so far it sounded like you just said insurance companies. Before that, you were talking about tax code 7702 and some sort of life insurance fund, something like that. Do we only have these two options? Like what is there to actually invest in? And like you said, you gave this example of the player from the Dodgers to the Angels, whatever it was, right? he has a whole team behind him, right? He is an individual, no clue. He's got no idea what to do that with that 700 mil, right? He's got a team though. 99% of the people that are listening, right? They don't have a team. Where do they even start? Where should they go?
Number one is get a budget. Number two is don't get out of debt. I have clients that are like, Joe, I'll give you $1,000 a month, but and I do a fact finder on them, and they're like, yeah, I have 22 grand at Amex at 22.99%. I'm like, I can't guarantee you 22.99%. You got to pay that off first. Well, Joe,
Yeah.
I'm probably never going to pay that off. I said, well, then you're never going to have anything because you have to change your ethics, your morals, and how you look at money. People
Mhm.
think like, oh, I'll never be able to be a millionaire because I only make 60,000 a year. I only make 40,000 a year. I only make 90,000 a year. I have clients that husband and wife together make $63,000 a year combined, and they're
Mm.
multimillionaires. I have clients, husband and wife combined, make over $750,000, and their net worth is negative. You hear about these people winning the lottery and they're broke 5 years later. You hear these rappers getting millions, they're broke. You hear these athletes getting millions, they're broke. It's not because they didn't have enough money, it's because they don't know how to use money. Money is again, I'm not here to get religious or spiritual on you, but money is talked about 700 times in the Bible. More than anything else in the Bible, they talk about money because it's so vitally important that if you are spiritually corrupt, if you are mentally corrupt, if you are emotionally corrupt, you're not going to be able to understand, to have the Holy
Mm.
Spirit inside of you to actually make that decision to say, I need to do the right thing. You are going to be
Mm.
consumed and the devil will be there, however you look at life. I'm not here to tell you what to
Sure,
do, but this is
sure.
how I look at it and what I've learned. The devil will always be there to say, let's go gambling. Let's go buy that fast car. Let's go spend that money. Let's go to hibachi. Let's go do that. When in reality,
Sure.
that's a gift you got and you're
Mm.
throwing it away for a quick high.
Mm.
And instead of building it and preserving it and growing it and giving yourself financial peace, you're giving yourself quick highs and financial turmoil. That's what the average American does. And I am guilty of it
Sure.
too. I just told you I
Mm.
gambled tens of millions of dollars. You think that was smart? Think I'm proud of that? I learned. I'm clean now. But like you go through these things in life where you're like, what the heck am I doing? And we're overtaken with so many because we have to balance so many plates and we don't
Yeah.
have the uh the know-how. School doesn't teach us how to be good humans. School teaches us how to be good slaves. Can I go to the bathroom, Mrs. Johnson? Right? And then what do you do when you're an adult? Oh, my wife just had a kid. Can I spend time with my son? No, get your ass to work. Excuse my French. Get your butt to work.
Yeah.
So if you really understood how this world is and trying to look behind the curtains and don't look at yourself as a conspiracy theorist, but as a critical thinker, which you'll be
Mm.
labeled a conspiracy theorist.
Mm.
But if you look at things, they may not add up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If we came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? If we went to the moon, who was holding the camera when they landed on the moon? Did somebody get there first that we don't know about? So there's all these questions that are undeniable questions that really don't have answers that people blindly believe. And if you're not going to critically think, you're going to be taken advantage of. And it's in
So
every
critical
facet of your life.
critical thinking is the overarching answer, right? Critical thinking, you talked about even like underlying morals and ethics. Figure that out first, right? After that, put a budget together. After that, get rid of debt, right? I'm just trying to get some actionable stuff because, like I said, so much of this is so high level and so like intense. But like, I'm trying to break it down as simple as possible so people can stand a chance, right? Because sure, like sadly, the world, especially America, right? It's essentially like a slave country. And like it sucks to say that, but so let's change things, right? Let's get educated. Okay. And so talk to us real quick, Joe. We're gonna have you back on, man, because you have so many stories I want to tell, and we only have like a couple minutes left. Um Tell us a little bit about your radio show, right? Because I think immediately everybody, including myself, this is a selfish question, right? We want to keep learning more. So what are you talking about on the radio show? When is it? How can people tune in?
So my radio show is called Money Talk with Ironhawk. Very simple. If you Google that, it's on everything. It's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple CarPlay, it's on over 200 radio stations, it's in 112 countries. It's been out since June 1st, so roughly two
Oh,
and a half
beautiful.
months. and I have over
Nice.
100,000 listeners. On my show, I had a guy from the Secret Service a week before Trump got shot, who actually was on
Yeah.
Trump's team and on Biden's team. Pretty good
Wow.
episode. I have
Yeah, I'm
certified
sure.
financial planners on my show. I have estate attorneys on my show. I talk
Mhm.
about case studies about what I did with a client. This is how old they were. This is how much they had. This is what I recommended. This is why they decided it was good for them. This is what we ended up on doing.
Mm.
I try to tell you about in depth about our government, how I love my country, but I hate my government, how the Fed works, how interest
Mhm.
rates are affecting your retirement, how inflation is going to affect the next 20 years, how taxes, how can you protect yourself, how to build a budget. I go in depth about everything, go in depth about politics, taxes, everything. I think they're going to implant Trump and then crash the economy. And just like they had the death toll ticker when Trump was in there about COVID deaths, and as soon as
Yeah.
Biden won, all of a sudden the death ticker disappeared
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to crash the economy and have the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq on the bottom in red and say, "Look, Orange Man bad. Look, he's bad." So I think this is all set up, and I think that we're put on this earth to grow our spirit. I think we're God's
Mhm.
children. I know
Mhm.
children turn to adults, and God's children turn to gods. But we have to grow our spirit. We have to grow and learn and have fun here. It's
Yeah.
not as
Sure.
serious as it has to be. You can have fun and still be responsible and don't be a bad person. So it's not that hard. But the devil is always waiting for you. He's always there
Yeah.
for you. Fast food places are open, alcohol stores are open, gun stores are open. You ever realize that? You go to these places, there's nothing but bad
Always.
food, guns, pawn shops. Where's the libraries? Where's the basketball courts? Where's the baseball fields? Where's the soccer fields? Where's the lacrosse fields? Where's the healthy alternatives to what they want us to have?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's consciously building your life and not floating through the wind, because the wind here is really demonic.
Beautiful, beautiful, man. Open your eyes. So overarching, dude, your radio station. You're not talking just finance, right? You're talking about life. You're talking about
Talking about
waking up,
spirituality. Yeah,
right?
I go deep.
Nice, going super deep, and like we could go other positive. We could go literally for hours here and go super deep. I already want to invite you back on. The one question I really like to always ask though is about legacy, right? Which is always interesting to me because it means different things to a lot of different people. You being a finance guy, especially interesting. Talking about legacy, what does it mean, and what's the legacy you want to leave on this world?
Legacy means to me is providing an opportunity for my three children to have a good quality of life by them earning it, not by giving them anything. I was given a brand new car when I was 16, and my friends would say, "Let's do neutral drops." I blew through three transmissions because I didn't buy it and I didn't care. So I want my children to earn. So I want to bring and grow Ironhawk. That's why I'm nationwide. That's why I have offices a lot of places. I have agents everywhere that work with me, not for me. And I want to have my children, if they choose to, if they like, my middle wants to be a zookeeper, my oldest wants to work with me, and then my daughter wants to be a dancer. But as things change and they need a place to come to say, Dad, I would love to work with you, I'll have a spot for them. And so
Yes.
legacy for me is not only saving up money, leaving it to your grandkids, and when you're not here anymore in the flesh, that you can still leave a legacy for your bloodline, for your kids and grandkids. So, legacy is teaching my children ethics, morals, respect, hard work, to be a lion, not a sheep. That's the legacy that to me is more important than dollars. But I also want to leave a cushion, because money doesn't make you happy, but money solves problems, which makes you happy. So it's not a direct link to happiness, but it is a counter link to happiness.
Couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. And especially the piece of not just the end with the happiness, right? But the legacy piece, so much of the morals, the ethics, right? How to navigate this world and not just leaving money for your future generations, right? That doesn't teach them anything. Joseph, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Time flew by. Absolutely looking forward to having you back.
I appreciate the platform and I hope you have a great day.
And everybody out there, thank you for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate you. Let me know what you thought. I mean, Joseph, wealth of knowledge. What did I say? What can I say? I mean, these bases. Let's just check our morals and our ethics. right? Double check. What are you spending money on? Do you need to be? Is it serving you, serving others around you and your future? Let's just check that. Next step, create a budget, right? Be strict, follow through with the budget, get rid of debt. And after that, who knows, maybe contact Ironhawk Financial. I'm going to be tuning into his radio show. I'm super excited. Thank you all for being here today. Once again, please share the episode with anybody and everybody that might get some value out of it. But until next time, thank you for tuning in. You've been listening to the Journey to Legacy podcast.